Perhaps some of the most notable and interesting characters in Tolkien's legendarium are Tom Bombadil and his wife, Goldberry. So why were they cut from Peter Jackson's film trilogy? In case you aren't familiar with either of these characters, here's a brief summary about them. In Book 1, Chapter 6, The Old Forest, Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin meet Tom Bombadil, a joyful, plump man who wears a blue coat and yellow boots. He saves Merry and Pippin from Old Man Willow, who is trying to crush them, and then tells the four hobbits to accompany him as they make it back to his house. In the following chapter, The House of Tom Bombadil, we also meet his wife Goldberry, who is described to be a golden-haired river daughter who, according to Letter 210, represents the actual seasonal changes in such lands. As the chapter goes on, the hobbits ask questions about his origin and who he is, but he is really quite vague about it and speaks about himself in third person. He tells them, "Eldest, that's what I am. Mark my words, my friends. Tom was here before the river and the trees. Tom remembers the first raindrop and the first acorn. He made paths before the big people, and he saw little people arriving. He was here before the kings and the graves and the Barrow-wights. When the elves passed westward, Tom was here already, before the seas were bent. He knew the dark under the stars when it was fearless, before the Dark Lord came from outside." So that's all we really know about him. He is someone who has been around for a really long time, and unfortunately, as Tolkien stated in Letter 144, and even in a mythical age, there must be some enigmas, as there always are. Tom Bombadil is one intentionally. So knowing that this character could have a lot of complexities to him, then why would they cut these scenes out of the movie? Well, firstly, Tom isn't as important as many people make him out to be. Though he is quite an interesting character, he isn't the most powerful or the most important. Tolkien describes him as the vanishing Oxford and Berkshire countryside in Letter 19. And in addition, in Letter 153, Tom Bombadil is not an important person to the narrative. He is just an invention, who first appeared in the Oxford magazine about 1933. He represents something that I feel important, though I would not be prepared to analyze that feeling precisely. Also, given the length of each of these movies, adding a scene like this would have made it far too long. And though some may want to argue that some other scene should have been cut instead, because Tom is such a joyful character who needs a lot of exposition for the viewer to understand why he is the way he is, and why he would be tossing the one ring around like it's nothing, like it's insignificant. And if the casual audience member saw that, the dark and intimidating tone of it all would have been significantly lowered, especially if the main threat seems to be treated like a joke. Though Peter Jackson didn't find Tom Bombadil to be a character that is crucial enough for the plot, and by extension Goldberry, he did not completely throw everything out of the film. In the Two Towers Extended Edition, Merry and Pippin get crushed like they do in the first book, only Treebeard is the one who saves them, and since this is the Two Towers, and not Fellowship, Frodo and Sam are not present either. So if you're interested in learning more about this character, pick up a copy of The Fellowship of the Ring, or his own standalone book, The Adventures of Tom Bombadil. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comment section if you think his exclusion from the films is justified, and until our next meeting, I bid you farewell.